Hi everyone, welcome to the introduction videos of the HKDSC geography subjects. For geography subject, actually this subject is quite appealing to three type of student. So you may think about whether you are these three type of student or not. The first type of student would be the student who enjoy reading maps. So this kind of student will read maps from time to time, and whenever they go to this countryside, they will always be the one who is responsible for reading map, and they will also guide the direction, also lead the group which way they should go. So they can always locate where they are, even for some places they may not know. So this would be the first type of student. You may think about whether you are this type of student or not. And the second type of student would be the student who enjoys spending time in the nature. For this type of student, they may go hiking from time to time, or they even finish the entire monthly hotel, and they may also go diving or swimming. So they enjoy all kind of activities in the natural environment. And the third type of student would be the type of student who uh, care about environmental protections. So they will become quite environmentally friendly, and they will recycle all the things they use on a daily basis, and they will also participate in different kind of voluntary activities to maybe help the environment or clear some mess or clear some garbage dumped in their natural environment. So you will then understand that if you have these kind of characteristics, actually they may be good for you to do some revision if you're really taking geography as one of your senior elective subjects, because some of the knowledge may be transferable or related. So they may be beneficial or advantageous for you to do revision. But even if you don't like the environment and don't like about the nature, it's also fine, because I have witnessed so many students who actually don't enjoy spending time in the nature, but they also perform very well and they have excellent results in the public exam. So you don't have to worry about it because they're only half the curriculum. Half of the curriculum is about human geography. So even if you don't like the environment, you also perform very well. So don't worry about it. You can still choose geography as your senior subject. Okay. And the next part will be talking about the physical geography part. And actually, for this part, the curriculum will be divided into four different modules. The first module will be natural disasters. For this module, the topic will be opportunity and risk, because we understand for certain regions in the world, they are prone to natural hazards, just like earthquakes or volcanic eruption. For example, let's say Japan, you can see Japan have different kind of earthquake from time to time. The Japanese still living there, and then we wonder why. We want to answer the question like, how do these kind of natural hazards develop, or how can we prevent it? And these will be the key learning objectives of the first modules. And for the second modules, the topic will be river and coast. We can observe different kind of forms of river in the upper course, but they will be in a total different shape in the lower course. So what will be the factor actually causing these differences? And we also witness different coasts. Some of the coasts will be have different kind of very steep slope, but for some coasts, we can always see some gentle beaches. So what kind of factor actually causing these differences, and how do we manage the river? Because we understand that for certain part of the coastal area, we do have to maintain it because different human activity will affect their environment, and how can we properly manage it will be the key focus of the second modules. As to the third modules, the topic will be the tropical rainforest. We understand that this region will be the region which has the highest biodiversity in the world. So we wonder why so many animals living there. Is it about the climate or about the habitat there? And we also want to know more about the plants. We wonder, are these only the regular plants we can find in Hong Kong? Or are these plants have some kind of unique features that can be hardly found in any places in the world? So we look into the details of different organisms, and we will think about how can we protect this kind of rainforest, because they are being damaged by different kind of stakeholders. And the last modules about physical geography will be about climate change. So for this part, we're talking about the iceberg and also the glacier because we understand that these icebergs are melting for years. We hear this kind of news when we are still kids. So are these icebergs still exist or are they all melt? So we also talk about the organism or the animals living in the polar regions, just like the polar bears. So we heard about some news talking about they face extinction from time to time. Are they all extinct now, or are they still alive? So this will be the answer, a question that we would like to answer. And for the final part, we also want to talk about how can we solve the problem, because it seems like the world or different countries have been working hand in hand with each other to solve the problem, but seems like their measures and their policy are not that effective, because we can still observe the problem of global warming or climate change are still worsening. So we want to explore how can we actually alleviate the problem or what kind of solution can we propose to the government or to different individuals living in this global village would be some kind of question that we would like to answer for the final part. And that will be the last session of the physical environment part. So the next components about the senior curriculum will be about the human geography. And here's we come to the fifth modules about industrial development. When we talk about industrial development, it always reminds us of these kind of factory images. When we think about these long line of production chains, and we also understand in the past, for these kind of factory workers, their wages will not be very high, their working environment is quite poor, and their working condition may be very bad. So these will be what we might be of when we're talking about industry in the past. That would be their reputations and their images. But the situation nowadays has improved a lot because for some industry in today's environment, just like some information technology industry, their office may be very nicely decorated, just like the Google office, the Facebook office, or even maybe the Apple office. So you can see they are located at the countryside, and their environment is so beautiful. And their office are also equipped with different kind of facilities, maybe a gaming room or maybe massage room or even sleeping room. So we want to understand why or the factors causing these kind of differences, and we explore their characteristics, and what making these changes, and how will they choose their location. What nowadays, where would they put their office? So this will be the key learning objective for the fifth modules. And for the sixth modules, that will be about urban planning. For Hong Kong, we always are struggling with different kind of urban problem, just like how to deal with different kind of solid waste or municipal waste. So whether we should build more landfills or we should expand the current landfills or even build some incinerators. So while we are struggling with these type of problem, we also understand in some other parts of the world and some other country, just like Singapore, they have very well structures and very comprehensive urban planning. We can easily observe it by their urban greenery. You can see they have very detailed and very nicely decorated urban greenery, or maybe on the wall of different buildings, or also along the road in the cities. So, how can Hong Kong become more competitive when talking about the urban planning or the prospect of cities? So for this part, we're talking about how can we actually build a sustainable city, or how can Hong Kong maintain its competitiveness? Because it seems like in recent years, the competitiveness of Hong Kong is seem to be declining. So how can Hong Kong be nicely planned, or how can the urban areas in Hong Kong be better developed to make Hong Kong a better city? That will be the key focus of the six modules. And finally, the last modules will be about combating famine. So we understand that even there in Hong Kong, we may have some kind of buffet meals from time to time, but there is still some regions or some people in this world they are still suffering uh, from famine problem. That means that they may don't have enough food to eat. So we would like to explore these problems and also find out what is the underlying reason causing this famine. Because we understand right now the total production of food should be exceeds the total consumption of food. So why there are still some people in this world they are still facing the problem of famine, and how can we solve this? That will be the key focus of the last modules. So, if you really want to choose geography as one of your senior elective subjects, you may have a quick look at these topics of these seven modules again, because they will be the key focus or also the major content of your senior learning. And some students may wonder and they may ask me if they enjoy reading math so much. So, should they choose this subject as their elective subjects, or can geography satisfy their desire or demand? I would say maybe, because there is one chapter in the senior curriculum that is about map reading, where we have to read map and also use different tools to apply the skill and to apply the knowledge into real life environment. But I will like to remind you, or you should be reminded that these part, the map reading part, is only about 1/10 of the entire curriculum. So if reading map is the only reason why you choose these subjects, I think you may seriously think about it. Sure, I hope you can better understand the core content of the senior DSC geography subjects. And if you do feel interested in some of these core modules, or if you feel interested in knowing more about nature, the environment, or map reading, I think you may be suitable for this subject. So you may have to seriously think about it. Apart from the interest part, and the second part will be ability, because in order to fulfilling their assessment criteria or also handling different assignments for this subject, geography students also have to possess some certain type of abilities to handle all the assignment and assessment, and also get a satisfactory result in the final exam. So, some students may worry and they ask me, is geography math related, or do they have to maybe finish different kind of complicated calculations? And I would say you don't have to worry about it, because you can hardly find some numbers in these subjects. There may be some pie chart or bar graph, and you have to explain and also illustrate their meaning. But for this subject, it won't involve some type of complicated calculations. So if you're not so good at math, I think you can relax, because this subject may be suitable for you. And some students also ask me, do they have to submit the SPA? That means the school-based assessment, because some students may also worry that they will have to write a very long report and also submit it to the exam center, and it will also be part of their final score of their public exam. But I would say for geography, we don't have any kind of SPA assessment, so all our mark will be graded by your performance of when you're sitting for the exam paper. So no SPA for geography subject. So it seems like that this subject is quite easy, right? Because you don't have to do complicated calculations. You also don't have to submit a very time-consuming Scooby assessment. But I would say even though for this subject, it may have these two type of advantages, but you also have to possess some core skill in order to perform well and also complete all the assessment assignment for geography subject. And the first skill that you have to possess will be logical reasoning. So, let's say when we are exploring the famine problem happened in Sahel, so some part of Africa, and you have to think about the air temperature there, because if the air temperature increase there, it would then affect the rate of transpiration. And when the rate of evapotranspiration increase, it would then affect the supply of water. And as a result, the amount of water available for plants and livestock will also decrease, which also making the food for the herds decrease. And at the end, so it will also threaten the food security of nomadic people. And that's how this famine problem is caused. So, in order to perform well in this subject, you have to be very logical because these charts will not be provided to you. So you have to understand all the cause and effect relationship, and you have to be very logical because you have to come up with these interrelationship on your own. Okay, so think about if you can do it or not. And the second skill would be verbal expression because for this subject, even though you don't have to do so many calculation, but you have to write quite many words. For example, for senior years, there will be some essay question like this one. So the question will be comprised of two sentences, but your answer would be very, very long. You can see these answer complete by one S4 student, and if you are promoted to S6, and you will have to complete even more, and also you will have to uh, yeah, perform even better. So think about if you can do it. So you may have to think about if you also want to study the subject in English. Your English have to be very fluent. I would say it's better for you to get an A for S3 English subject, so that it will be better for you to choose English as your medium of instruction. But if your English level is not that fluent, so please think seriously whether you want to study in this subject in Chinese or English. Okay? And finally, other than interest and also ability, the last part will be about prospect. So what will geography graduate do, or what kind of career development do they have? So for the prospect part, I would say these are all the related academic fields. So these are also the subject provided or offered by the college and universities. So if you feel interested in this kind of subjects, so you may also choose geography as your senior elective subjects. But I also have to remind you because some students will ask me, so when they take geography in secondary school, so when they are applying for this program in universities, do they have extra marks or do they have special rating if they have studied geography in senior years? I would say no, because for most program in Hong Kong, they won't give you extra marks or they won't give you extra rating of if you have studied geography in your senior secondary years. So yeah, yes, this may be one of the shortcomings for this subject because even though if you haven't studied this subject in senior year, but you can still choose geography as your major when you get into universities. So you also have to think about these costs and risks that you may encounter. And I also have to remind some students if you are interested in astronomy, or if you love to explore things about the space or things about different planets, please don't choose geography because that is about physics. So just choose physics as your elective subjects, okay? So because this part will be related to physics rather than related to geography. And finally, about the career development, I would say these are some common positions that most geography graduates may working at right now, because some of my friends and they're also working as these kind of positions. So if you have found some kind of a career that you may want to develop, uh, as shown here, maybe landscape architect or maybe urban planner. So you may also choose geography as your senior subject because choosing geography will be definitely beneficial or pave a way for you to be an urban planner or to be a landscape architect in the future. So that's pretty much what I want to share today. I hope you can have a better understanding about what geography is like in senior years. And I also want to highlight one last little advantage if you do take this subject in senior years, because in senior years we can have different kind of opportunities to actually uh, go to different fields site to do field work. So we have been to different kind of countryside places, and we have also visited different kind of coastal regions or even different museum or exhibitions. So I can guarantee that if you take this subject in senior years, you can have different opportunities to work with your group mates or to perform different kind of field tasks and also field practice. So that's it for today. I hope that you can find every information clear. And if you do have further questions, please feel free to contact me via the school office, or you can always directly come to room 101 to find me. And I hope to see you next year. Bye bye.